Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Kelemis, dear experts from both countries, dear friends. Kalispera, guten Tag, shoot as it doesn't. It's a real pleasure to be with you today and provide the concluding remarks of this great workshop. The time for this workshop couldn't be better. However, it comes with a very hard task to consolidate all these great points that have been made and shared and make sure that we haven't skipped anything important. So as Minister Skregas mentioned earlier, thanks to the leadership of the German presidency in the continuation of the same strategy by the Portuguese presidency, we are certain that a European hydrogen economy is possible and plausible. It has been also mentioned by the General Secretary that hydrogen is no longer an afterthought, and it's not. That hydrogen is not the champagne of our energy transition, but the table water. Perhaps desalinated would be even better. I actually read earlier this morning the phrase that hydrogen is the Swiss Army knife of decarbonization, an amazing metaphor illustrating the versatility of its application. Just skimming through the German press, I see the same creativity and ambition from the German energy journalists. Deutschland wird Wasserstoffland, and so on are some of the titles I read and offer the sense that hydrogen is becoming Germany's energy Wende 2.0. So I'm sure that there have been several lessons learned from this German revolution in renewables, and that could be drawn to help Germany assume the technological leadership in hydrogen and compete with Japan and Korea and other first movers of technology, or other late movers such as China. Of course, the role for Greece in this hydrogen revolution is and must be obviously different. Last October, when I was invited to a Hydrogen Europe's event with the representatives of the member states for the IPCIs, my concluding remark was that we need to fuel up our engines to get on this hydrogen train. And I said, this time allow us to under-promise and over-deliver. A few months later, we take pride on the results of the IPCI process, which has just been concluded. When started this trip in January, the question I had to answer to our colleagues from other ministries was whether White Dragon would be ready as our only proposal for the IPCI. In a period of 3 months and after dedicated work, we managed to engage with as many interested parties as possible and put them in the acceleration pipeline. And now we can count more than 20 plus projects that have applied and wish to be included in this first wave of the hydrogen IPCI. Well, we know it's not 230 projects, but I'm very pleased to see that this effort has been embraced by our government vertically, involving not only the General Secretaries of Energy and Industry as the originators, but also the ones of Maritime Affairs, Transportation, and Research and Innovation. 2 reasons for that. Through this political symmetrical approach, we managed to attract proposals from different sectors of the hydrogen value chain, such as shipping, transportation, the industrial units, startups, and spin-offs. And B, also, we made sure that the call of expression of interest is aligned with our national hydrogen strategy, which is currently in the making. So allow me here as a coordinator of our National Hydrogen Committee to share with you how pleased I am to see that the hard work of the experts participating in the committee, along with the presidency of Dr. Kapros, is paying off, as we will be soon having a national roadmap that meets the Greek energy policy and national targets, while we're taking care of our country's particularities. We might need still to engage a bit closer with our shipping industry, but I'm sure that everything will fall into the right place as at the right time, as we need to envision the new generation of ships and the compromises that comes with the load and everything, whether it's hydrogen or ammonia. And I say that because the maritime sector is strategic to Greece, and hydrogen could become a game changer, not only by using hydrogen and ammonia as a fuel, but mainly because of the need to connect remote hydrogen production sites across the globe with the hydrogen markets by somehow emulating the LNG market. It might as my colleague just mentioned, it might take some time, but we will be getting there. With the doubling of the demand, as Mr. Dajvald mentioned by 2030, and as described in the German hydrogen strategy adopted last June, it is quite clear, I quote, "The domestic generation of green hydrogen will not be sufficient to cover all new demand, which is why most of the hydrogen needed will have to be imported from several places across the EU, where large quantities of renewable-based electricity are being generated and other great potential for and offer great potential for producing green hydrogen." This is a strategic opportunity for Greece to intensify our cooperation with Germany and other European member states as a potential green hydrogen upstreamer, but also as a gateway of renewable hydrogen produced in Northern Africa and the Eastern Mediterranean. And why not look Greece as a hydrogen port or even a regional hydrogen hub of the future, as our Hellenic Energy Exchange is taking off? So yes, we're open to jointly develop production sites and at the same time provide investors the security to plan ahead. It is important to note here the importance of reducing market uncertainty. As in the case of renewables, the creation of long-term offtake agreements under the PPA scheme remove market risk from installation projects, leaving mainly technical challenges to be addressed. So perhaps we need to wait for the first hydrogen purchase agreement, or similarly to the CO2 purchase agreements. Moreover, special focus should be given on scaling applications and technologies that create the biggest improvement for investments to drive the cost down. Therefore, we would welcome a more targeted cooperation with the large German industrial players, especially in the field of technology transfer. Moreover, one has to take into account, though, that we as a country need to take a stride forward to cover the lost ground when the majority of other member states made everything into smaller steps. For example, the European Hydrogen Backbone Group recently presented their vision of nearly 40,000 kilometers of hydrogen pipeline infrastructure in 21 countries by 2040, with 70% of the proposed hydrogen network being brownfield, repurposed, existing natural gas grids. In Greece, we're juggling multiple balls as we are still on our way to expand our gas network to Western Greece and Northern Greece, and also make the decision if our companies should start building greenfield hydrogen pipelines. At the same time, we need to proceed with building a sound infrastructure and upgrade our electricity grids, as the electricity demand is set to rise in the next period because of the ample electrification, the uptake of e-mobility, and the upcoming interconnections of our islands with the national grid. This makes imperative the need to meet the growing demand with green, affordable, and clean energy. At the same time, upgrade our electricity networks and promote smart grids, demand-side management, and so on, and move forward with our cross-border interconnection. This is where hydrogen could be the Swiss Army knife that I mentioned in the beginning, and hydrogen could be the ideal solution for the non-interconnected islands, as General Secretary mentioned during her talk. Last but not least, the transportation sector. A country with the same population as Greece, Portugal, that concluded the first hydrogen commercial deal with the Netherlands of green hydrogen and green ammonia, has just announced that green hydrogen is reaching pumps in Douro gas filling station by 2022. The same goes for a renewable gas station and biomethane station, again, 2022. So why not Greece? This might be a very good reason to repatriate some of our high caliber scientists who are currently working abroad and turn brain drain into a brain gain. To conclude, our position is that a comprehensive European hydrogen policy is needed, and our two countries might work together towards such direction to create the cloud and set the right mindset, as mentioned in the beginning. A common strategy could help the EU remove the unnecessary barriers to accelerate the emergence of a greener, but not overregulated hydrogen economy. At the same time, this would enable us to get a better understanding of our internal market and better forecast our hydrogen imports needed once the European demand and production capacity has been reliably estimated. So, dear friends, Greece aspires to develop massive solar and wind power installation to produce green hydrogen and further utilize our substantial unharvested renewable energy sources potential. And we will need all the help we can get from our allies to build scales, follow best practices, and do that efficiently. The future seems bright. Let's jointly harvest it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Papalucas.